Welcome to this special episode of Man vs. Meeple, where we're going to talk a little bit about what we're thankful for as board gamers, and what everyone should be thankful for as board gamers, I think.
Yeah.
In board gaming.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we get into that, let's make it very apparent. This is about board games. We're thankful for our health. We're thankful for our families. This is an American holiday, but we want to celebrate with everybody around the world that watches our show. So just know that this is going to be very board game centric.
That is true. We should mention our families. There are those of you who I'm not thankful for, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So yes, in board gaming, what I'm thankful for, one of the things that I'm really thankful for, if you know me as a gamer, you know I like medium heavyweight games, but I also like gateway games, because one of the things that's important to me as a gamer is bringing different people to the table, and I play with all sorts of different types of gamers. And one gateway game in particular that's come out recently is Azul. And if you know me, if you've seen our channel at all, you know how much we love Azul. You know how much I love Azul. I can't get enough of this game, and this is why. This game is the kind of thing where you put it on the table, and I don't care if you're a heavy gamer or someone who's brand new to gaming. You have to, at the very least, appreciate this game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, and I'm sure there may be some of you out there, and it might share in the comments that you don't feel this way, but I think a lot of people just, it's a fun experience. There's no denying the fact that it's like, you know what, that's really good. And Azul, it's beautiful. It's simple enough to play, but it's got depth enough to be
competitive for experienced gamers too.
Yeah, it's fun for experienced gamers, and not to just focus on that game, but that represents what I think is a good gateway game. You know, we've had gateway games around for a long time, and for a long time, not even just a few years ago, Ticket to Ride was kind of like, everyone always said, well, that's the gateway game.
Right.
And I'm glad to see that the industry is putting more of those types of things out there. I think it's important for them to grow, but they're also not just churning out things that could qualify as a gateway game, but putting out really good things. Like Splendor was a good one. I think Century Spice Road this year and Azul now are great examples of something you can use to get just about anyone to the table.
Absolutely, yeah, 100% agree. I'm going to say legacy games, and the reason why I'm going to talk about legacy games is because they do something completely new in board gaming, right? Legacy games came out originally in 2011 with Risk Legacy, and it's just a really neat trend in the industry, because when they're executed really well, they can create really unique and fun experiences for the people at the table. They typically offer a smaller barrier of entry for people to play, but they also offer that big, expansive world and a developing ecosystem within a game that's typically you can't find in an RPG, for the fact that there's such a heavier barrier of entry for that style of games. So they still give those players that same feeling, and there's something really special about cracking open a new box, or scratching off a card, or putting a sticker on a board and saying, I had no idea that this was going to be in a game that I've already played 5 or 6 times, and it's really interesting to see how this is going to develop. And it's a great trend. I can't wait to see what this is going to be like in the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, I know, and also, I mean, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, you've also played all the way through Pandemic Legacy Season 2 with your wife.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great couples experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I just started playing just through the prologue so far with Alicia, but we plan on playing, well, spoiler alert, Alicia, we are playing this several times over the Thanksgiving holiday, and I'm really looking forward to that and experiencing that. I think those kind of games, for new gamers too, like you said, even though they might be a little complicated to learn for some of them, once you get into them, like, those people are fascinated by the fact that, like you said, you're scratching stuff off, you're opening things up. It's like it's like an advent calendar almost.
I mean, it's really building brand loyalty too, because when a publisher creates a game like Pandemic Legacy, we'll keep on that, if players like that experience, they're going to automatically want to play the next Pandemic Legacy. And we're going to see more and more of these style of games. We're already seeing 6 that I've counted legacy games coming out next year.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's not an easy effort for them to put those things together. I can't imagine designing a game, let alone designing one that evolves over time like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're here to stay for sure.
Yeah.
So the next thing I'm thankful for, and I think we're all thankful for, it's a little less about board games, but more about what board games have done for people, for me in particular. It's meeting new people.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and this is going to be a little bit more industry focused than it is sort of gamer focused, but I've had the chance just in the last year. I mean, you've been doing this a little bit longer, but just in the last years we've been doing Man vs. Meeple, I've met all sorts of people. I won't list them all, but the Rodneys of the world, other people that do similar things that we do, and meeting them at conventions and realizing how friendly and nice everyone is. And it goes for the whole industry too. We meet with publishers all the time, and this is a unique industry in that a lot of the people who are in the lead roles at these publishers are people who once ran game stores, gamers themselves. You don't see many corporate suits or people behave in that sort of traditional fashion. Everyone's really welcoming, and they've really welcomed Man vs. Meeple into the scene very readily and quickly, which we really appreciate. But yeah, I had a blast at PAX last weekend, and I met a few people who I'd kind of communicated with electronically on Facebook. I'll give a couple shout-outs here. Christian Kang, who does Take Your Chits, who's hilarious, by the way, and you need to check him out. Super nice guy, just as nice in person as I expected he would be. And I also met both the Blue and the Pink Peg from Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and they're great. I had no idea I was going to meet them. We ended up hanging out all weekend, basically. Had a little bit of a bromance, I think, with Rob, but we'll see what he thinks about that. But anyway, the people that we meet in this industry are fantastic. Super thankful for that.
And super passionate, too. Everybody that I've met in the industry loves doing what they do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just, like I said, it's not corporate business as much as it is just people doing what they want to do.
I'm super appreciative for app games.
App games.
App companions. Like, it's so nice to now see full integration of board games and digital media. And this is something that people push back on for a long time.
Yep.
I remember when the first app companions came out, and people are like, I want to keep my table space clear of digital media. I don't want to have it involved at all with my board games.
Good luck with that, by the way.
And over time, we've seen a gradual acceptance of people saying, I understand now, with your Mansions of Madness, your Descent, your Werewords, your Unlocks, all of these games now have very important aspects of the game that's digital, that ties that board game into a digital aspect. And now with the aspect of Imperial Assault releasing imminently, probably within the week, it's only going to get more and more integrated. And this is great because we're gamers. We love video games, we love board games, and it's nice to see these two integrating and bringing people from the video game industry into the board game industry, because this is what people from that industry like.
Well, I think that's a huge thing. I think when they first started hitting the scene, I don't know if there was many, XCOM was one of the earlier ones, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And some of the earlier ones, and I have to admit, I'm not putting this on XCOM because I've never played it, but I think a lot of people's skepticism was they're just trying to do that to shoehorn it in, and it's a gimmick, just like a lot of technology when it comes to board games. But the ones that you mentioned, they use the technology really, really well. And they benefit from it. They're the kind of games that when you play it without the technology, you find yourself thinking, oh, this would be really nice if they had an app that did this. And I think today, versus 5 years ago even, the prevalence of devices at the table, and usually that's a bad thing because someone's on their phone not listening to rules or something like that. But now, it's such a comfortable thing for everybody. Like you said, there's gamers who might take, or non-gamers who might take the step over to tabletop games because there's that one element. I've played Werewords with people who aren't huge gamers, and I think it's more appealing to them because they can relate more to it because, oh, this uses my phone. Yeah, I agree. The apps, it may seem like a strange thing to be thankful for, but I really do think that's a good thing for the industry and a good thing.
It shows that they're evolving with legacy games and app companions, that the industry is not being shoehorned and not doing the same thing over and over. They're expanding out, they're reaching new markets, they're integrating more people into the board game industry, which means it's more accepting to a larger audience of people.
Definitely. So the last thing that we want to mention here that we're thankful for, and this is going to sound extraordinarily sappy, I'm just going to say that, is you guys.
Absolutely.
We are thankful for being able to do what we're doing here. Jeremy and I have been doing this as our full-time gig for
Since October, over a year.
Yeah, almost a year full-time. And, we consider ourselves very, very lucky to be able to do this every day. We'll both admit there's some ups and downs. Sometimes
Absolutely.
we don't want to play a board game because we've played 100 different board games the other day or read a bunch of different rules. But to complain about that seems ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we just wanted to make sure and say that we're super thankful to be able to do it, to be able to do Man vs. Meeple, and thank you for watching
And
our
Mom,
content.
if you're watching, I'm thankful for you guys too. Want to make sure that's very
Oh,
apparent.
now I have to do all that.
Love you, Mom. So thanks, guys. Happy holidays. If you're not in the States, happy holidays as well.
Yes.
We extend that to everyone around the world, and we will see you guys after the holidays. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.